hasn't been enough experience, not a sufficient experience base to know, can we really get this done with this amount of money? And again, from a project management standpoint, it's the human cost that comes into play, because we're out there with the people, and we bring them in, maybe with salaries that are insufficient to live in this area without huge commutes. Not necessarily providing any type of allowances for things like commutes either. So it's a hard place to be, and it's a real balancing act. Again, as a project or program manager, where you've got your business operations people who are chewing on you here, and the government is chewing on you here, and your staff is suffering as well. So it's tough, and it takes all the creativity and all the people skills and all the technical skills that you have in order to really do it properly. And it's burning, frankly, we see it a lot. It's burning people out. It really is. They are. There's only a certain amount of time that you can really put up with that. But the thing I want to illustrate again is that the OMB, the big mean OMB, is they're actually telling the agencies, go out and put a little money, extra money available to cover this risk reserve. But I don't see, it's not really happening very much. Okay, that's all the bad news. So we're going to talk about good news now. New improving information and web technologies making true enterprise project management possible and doable. The bad news, tools get you to an expensive nowhere unless you've done your groundwork, which is the policies, the processes, the standards, training, executive sponsorship in place, or at least emerging, at least with a will to go there. And we're guilty of that probably in my environment as well, in that, and we'll be talking about some, what I'm involved in at Mantech, which I'm really excited about, which it really seems to be working. We'll be sharing a little bit about that on the EPM side, but it would feel a lot better if we had more of those, that bottom layer of conditions in place, which we're still working on at the same time. So it's a cart before the horse type of situation. But this is a pretty recent chart that pulled from Gartner Group, showing the market space right now for enterprise project and portfolio management solutions. You can see that up on the upper right-hand quadrant is really where all the winners and the leaders, market leaders are. The Computer Associates has their Clarity product. Microsoft, Oracle, CompuWare, PlanView, and then a group down below that. So a lot of organizations are investing in these systems for a lot of the same reasons, for enterprise management, task management, document management, risk management, issue management. A big one is pulling data from external data sources like accounting systems or other document management systems or just other databases. Yes, sir?
Do you think that as companies realize that business intelligence and business process management is important and start investing in these technologies, that's going to fuel more of those towards leaders and challengers?
Yes, I mean, short answer, yes. I think that's the answer. And in my world, in our world here, I think in the federal contracting world, a lot of it is driven by some of those constraints and some of those pain points that I was mentioning before, is that we can't do this. We can't continue like this. We got to make some changes. We have to embrace some standardized approaches that are absolutely required in order to use these tools, because you can't take an enterprise tool and configure it for every different division in your organization. You'll have total chaos. You've got to get at least a basic set of templates and a basic set of standard approaches, and that's what's driving. I mean, that's what I'm seeing is driving a lot of this. Is just the competitiveness and the constraints that the organizations are operating under, trying to maintain some kind of profit margin while all this is going on.
Do you acquire this software under a capital purchase, or is this something that
Yes.
you're doing through a government contract?
A little bit of both, but typically I think typically it's capital purchase.
Yeah, because I've had to price some of these programs, and it scares a lot of people away.
Yeah, it's scary, and that's the other thing is you don't always know what we're buying, and what else we're going to have to buy when we get it in place. But there's some options there as well. We'll talk a little bit about those. So, this is what we've done at Mantech right now, and we're in. This is our EPMS, or Enterprise Project Management System, which we're kind of in an early production phase right now, and happy to say it's working pretty well, getting really good response. Built on the Project Server 2007, SharePoint 2007, which is just, both of those are really big improvements over the 2003 versions. The Project Server SharePoint now is really very tightly integrated in some innovative ways. At Mantech, we've been using SharePoint 03 for about 5 years or so, and while there are lots of complaints, generally there's been a pretty high level of acceptance of it, and people have learned to use it for a lot of purposes. So a decision was made that we're going to upgrade to the 2007 version, and at the same time to introduce the EPM, the Enterprise Project Management, as a component of this enterprise upgrade of SharePoint. So we've also you see some of the other systems that we have tied in. Down at the bottom is Decker Tracker, which is sold as an earned value calculation engine, which we got in order to meet our earned value management requirements that are emerging and accelerating. We're also starting to use it for more enterprise budgeting and forecasting. It's tied into our PeopleSoft accounting system for bringing in actual cost data in a compliant sort of way, that is, so that people can't mess with it when it's coming in. It's tied into some other systems. We have a Cognos reporting engine that brings in all sorts of reports from a data warehouse, from human resource systems and business development systems. And all this kind of goes really nicely, flows nicely into the SharePoint 2007. Here's kind of what everybody likes. This is what is kind of getting a lot of the acceptance, or these configurable type of dashboards. And this is kind of an out-of-the-box type of SharePoint, typical SharePoint dashboard with all the different little boxes up there representing web parts that can be dragged and dropped in according to user preference, and make kind of a library of what start out with a basic template, but then allow project teams to kind of move the boxes around and